Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the breakfast show. That's right. Now we have seen the Bursa, the KLCI, at hit 2-month high, just short of the 1600. So what do we have in store? As I said before, the breakout of the 1520, which is to denote that the downtrend has stopped and we are continuing perhaps in the new trend. Is that what we are seeing right now? So that very quick up move was actually done also by a lot of foreign funds. So make sure you check out our plug-in foreign fund flows and you would see the last 3 days, first time ever we have seen each day we have more than 100 million of foreign fund flows coming in on net buying, and that's definitely for sure. Of course, these are just mainly a lot of them what we call the big capitalization or the big institutional buying a lot of the large cap stock and the mid cap stock. How is your own small cap and mid cap stock doing so far? Are you rotating well together with the other sectors we have seen? Technology has learned. So let's check out what we have for you in this morning breakfast show. Of course, this morning in here, we are at the premium alert, and usually we talk about advanced setup in here. So many of you, I would assume you have some sort of a good experience in trading shorter time and intraday. Definitely that is something for you to relook at it. And of course, what we want to look at is some of the news roundup that we have. Definitely in the talk is another UMNO counter, since we have the new Prime Minister, which was instated in on the 21st of August. Of course, we know today at 11 o'clock that will be the cabinet lineup announcement. So that's why we are seeing this morning the market actually open up lower. Let's take a look at it. Where is it right now? And switching to a wider chart here. And let's throw at the top there. So we have the market up 6 points, responding well to what we are likely to have this new cabinet lineup. But do take note, usually on this kind of good news, once the news comes out, right, there may be some selling. So take note of what we call the volume action in here. Of course, let's take a look at our morning usual suspect, the most active one, TFP, Scope, CTOS. The big gainers are Dutch Lady, SAM, DKSH, Genentech, IH. Today the healthcare is up. Nestle is down slightly, FNN, and those are your typical very defensive stocks, just down in center. But definitely we want to take a look is this very nicely done, which is really Pentagon SMARTRobie chart has informed everybody as soon as it broke through here, the 150 and taking out of the last 3 upthrust, which I talked about earlier on, and that was very, very significant. The market went through 1, 2, 3, and right now also the market is up 6 points. So we are hitting 1600, and usually take note, is this a time to buy? Market generally will pull back, and if it does pull back, make sure the volume's at low, and then we would likely to form another resistance, and then we will see. Remember, the September month, according to our seasonality monthly report that we have in our plugin, for those of you who have that, you can check it out. Month of September and October generally are weaker. Of course, we have the last 3 or 4 days movement that we have seen. The market has been down, so this may be only temporarily, as I said before, so take note of whatever the changes is. But let's take a look at the MYEG that we've seen so far. Another UMNO counter came in with a very nice profit, as I said before in here. They are into all kinds of online businesses, insurance license, tax renewal, MYEG. Let's take a look at it, and let's take a look at the chart that we have, and stock chart. So far you can see from here, market definitely again very, very similar to what we saw also for our index, to our KLCI index. This is really taking a cue from it. It has moved up just short of 2 ringgit right now. All kinds of COVID-19 and a full year net profit of 320 million, and increasing the quarantine capacity from 800 rooms to 2,000 rooms under the 8 quarantine room by end of September. So there are a little bit of contribution in here. So this stock, as I said before, if you have got in during the green Pentagon, that will be a very nice move here. As I said before, That would be, if you look on the right hand side of the chart, the Pentagon Fact MYG is likely at price gain of 15% since the green Pentagon at 167, which is about 11th of August, and that's where the green Pentagon first picked it up. And also take note of the chart that you see here very nicely. You can see here 1 and 2, that's the two double bottom that they have, and you see two double bottoms. This is where the market likely to break up nicely in here. All right, let's move on to our next news. Now, next news is focusing on Genting again with the market recovery. No doubt the COVID cases continue to be higher, as we said before, close to about 25 or 26,000. I don't think the COVID cases will come down. As I said before, on Wednesday, look for what we call hospitalization and number of deaths. Definitely for the Kuala Lumpur, which can be used as a case, we are seeing the lower numbers. I think was about maybe less than 1,100 or 800. I can't remember precisely. So check it out. Look for the Kuala Lumpur and the number of deaths. That is representing only about 1%. So as long as the COVID cases continue to come down for that, that means the vaccine rollout, it's important, as we've seen rises in also in Sabah and Sarawak and also Penang outside of the Klang Valley in here. But the news is turned ourselves into the Genting Malaysia. That's right, the second quarter up sevenfold. Leaped by to 800 million from the same quarter, 140 million. The fact that Genting Malaysia continue to do a little bit of profit, right, that says a lot. They did have some sort of challenging times. Did went up to Genting once. Could see there are not really many people in the casino because of the COVID-19, but they are coming back. So looking at switching to a wider chart here, Genting. So you can see from here, Genting Malaysia. We want to look at the chart, and you can see from here, chart wise, again started to move already on the green Pentagon again on the 8th of August. But we do have the old resistance at $3 in here. That also eventually I do think this stock will cover, but would it make the old high and trending that yet to be seen so far. This morning Genting is down slightly, Genting Malaysia just down 0.67%. Let's take a look at it. Right, and we have seen here, it's almost unchanged, 297. That's right, 297 here. Well, what do you think of Genting? Is Genting worthwhile to take a look? I know some of the older folks in here, but again, this is definitely a recovery play, and some of the more familiar with Genting prefer to buy this compared to the technology stocks. All right, let's move on to our next talk, which is the news will be commodities, precious metal. Now, precious metal has made a very nice gain over some time on the back of a very good profit. As I said before, the high tide in here. This report talks about the net profit previously has surged by almost threefold to 255 million in the second quarter, right? And bolstered by the aluminium prices, higher ramp up. But what this news talks about is the slower ramp up, which means they are not able to push more sales, and this is due to the production, and they are re-upscaling their workers. So RHB Investment Bank in here trimmed precious metal earnings by 14%. Okay, let's take a look at precious metal this morning, and whether this news has affected it or not. Let's look at the stock price, and it is still switching to a wider chart here. So precious metal is up 0.74% at 544. Let's take a look at the chart wise, and you could see the green Pentagon was in play. It did pops up a lot of spring that you saw right in the middle here. You can see these two springs at the support 480 was definitely, of course, on hindsight, you could see that was a nice space the market bounced off and ready to move higher. And usually these are the things that you want to be buying on what we call no news, right? And to make money, no doubt, we all have to be patient. right? I know some people like to chase it now because now they see flying. As we see more and more people coming into the market as they see market new high, and to me that's very unskilled. For those of you who have been following, that's great, learning to buy at kind of support. And just like many types of we call ourselves fishermen, okay? We want to go out and fish when no one is looking, when everybody is coming in, so the fishes will tend to run away. It's usually a time to take profit. Now the question is, will this remain a trend to be seen? With something we'll talk about in our later session in here. So precious metal continue its nice uptrend. As I said before, from here, testing the 540 mark, a nice one in here, almost from a 480 ringgit, a nice 10% move in here. Nice one in here for precious metal, which one of mine holdings too. All right, let's move on to the next news that I have for you is Kejaya, which is a construction company. The second quarter net profit rises for 59% and it surged to 42 million from previously at 32 million, with the corresponding revenue growing at 458 million from 339 million. Again, another COVID-19 construction recovery, the kind of playbook here. Kejaya, and if you look at here, Kejaya, switching to a wider chart here and looking at stock chart. So from a stock chart standpoint, you could see Kejaya very similar, right? You notice a lot of those stocks which have some sort of a support is behaving very, very similar to what we've seen for precious metal in here. So this stock continued to move up, going to likely to retest back the old 3-month high here. Now take note, the Robie chart are 3-month high. So that's why we are seeing at 120 here, 128. So that's a nice one in anticipation. The chart actually moved ahead of the anticipation of what we call this second quarter, and usually they do. Smart money knows about these things. That's why we want to be taking a look at the charts when we have green pentagon in here. Definitely a much better one in here. You're not stop out generally because you can see the ATR stop loss did not close lower for that one. All right, so good one for Kejaya. And let's take a look at the next news that we have for you, right? Is Kenangan. Now Kenangan has downgraded QL outlook. This is due to the challenging times as well as the so-called consensus and pandemic. That's right, they are reducing the outlook for it. But QL has pretty much sustained itself, has a long period of accumulation. Switching to a wider chart here, you can see, and stock chart over here, you can see QL has another nice base. It was trying to break up higher like what it did in here, but definitely the downgrade of the QL outlook to 6 ringgit. So right now, let's take a look. Yesterday we have a line change there, and looking at the livestock prices, so you can see it's almost unchanged at 561. So 6 ringgit is just another 40 cents. Which is about 6 or 8%. That's all it is. So definitely a lot of hit, a lot of resistance out here, but the chart does looks good. Okay, now pending on any new news, this stock may move ahead of the time. All right, so that's also important. $6 is the target price given by the Kenangan. Now on the US fund, a lot of things has in the pipeline. We know the Jackson Hole meeting, which the US FOMC, and it has turned into a virtual meeting. Usually they conduct it over the end of August, 31st August. This is where the Federal Reserve will give some sort of a hint what is going to take place in terms of bond buying. Now remember, bond buying, as I said before, it is important because it probably tell you where the interest rate is likely to be going. Now the monthly bond buying, which has been done by the US Federal Reserve, is about 120 billion a month. Any tapering would likely to see interest rate, and in turn that will translate to inflation higher in here. But the US market continue to be strong, and also this morning we have another report of the terrorist attack on the Kabul airport, and that would have some sort of impact tonight. No doubt about it, turning to but it's I do not think it's going to be a big sell-off that we've seen in the Kabul. So far the US market has weighed off even the COVID and the Delta variant, and more importantly is not to have the economic shutdown that we've seen sometime back last year in February and April, where we saw a lot of cases and that we saw the big market falling. But right now US market is still holding up at its base. Let's take a look at the S&P 500. Oh, I have to log out. I was logged out in here. Let me just try to sign in back again with my Google. I believe so. Okay, somehow I have to sign in again, and we're going to come back to this shortly, but it's okay. All right, so we just have to use our trade VSA plugin chart from here onwards. Okay, so from the US market here that we've seen right now, let's take a look at it. All right, on my chart here, YM1, which is I usually look at the futures. So let me just bring this up. So you can see from here, we have the, this is a plugin. For those of you who subscribe to our plugin, you definitely see this very nicely in here. So far you can see in here, we have a double top in here, and that's why we have a selling. But the trend line auto plotter, that's the one many of our new members are getting, still pointing upwards. We are still in the red pentagon, market still holding up in here. Likely we will see this market continue to move sideways markets in here. Okay, sideways markets in here. So let's take a look at the next that we have for you, which is the stock in focus is HP. Now HP, Hewlett Packard compared HPQ, yesterday came out with the revenue which misses the mark, but the CEO is saying we are selling everything we can produce, which means there is actually a demand going from there onwards. And Hewlett Packard, like it or not, yesterday has a green pentagon, just turned green pentagon in here. You could see that's right, green pentagon, and it has been in what we call bottoming in here. So right now, if you see market recovery, this is actually a good base. Did hit all high at $34. That's another 10% up move. $30 to $34. That's about another 10% up move. Very nice one in here. It's been going up, but this one, if you look from here, earnings is up 19%, which is pretty good, and they do pay dividend. Last earnings was up 4% too. All right, of course for here previously was up 39% in here. So all things on TradingView does point to a better outlook for Hewlett Packard in here. I think right now it's a very low base, very similar what we are seeing in the local Malaysian market also. Many of them are building up at a nice base. You have a triple 1, 2, 3, triple bottom in here. So that will tell you this market has some sort of up room to move. All right, let's move over to Singapore, and the SGX market are talking a lot about the healthcare product, and IAH is one of the big mover today, 4% up move, as well as Top Glove, which is up 2% this morning also too. And this is also the talk of the long delay, what we call some restructuring exercise for the Singapore side on Top Glove. Let's take a look at the Top Glove that we have, and that will be BVA. This is on Singapore, and you can see very nicely done, a lot of a nice base in here. The green pentagon in here this morning up 1.6%. And let's take a look on our Malaysian side. You can see Malaysian side also green pentagon in here. It's also up 1.83%. Okay, 1.83% in here. Will it break out to retest back the old high? The technical setup does give that clue. All right, that's the clue. Will it go any higher? You still have this resistance over here. Right now we could see the trend line has certainly turned sideways, and it looks like it's building some accumulation. We want to see this trend line here start to tilt up. Once it's tilted up, then the trend is moving up. All right, remember this auto trend line usually it's based on the left hand side of the chart, so a lot of these are historical, tend to be a bit lagging, but it does tells you when the trend has changed. And of course, if the market do break into the 4 ringgit 13 cents here, that means we're likely to see a beginning of a stage 2 shares. All right, take note of that one. So that is giving you some sort of a headlight where we are going. All right, let's move on to the leaderboard for past trade idea. Now on a premium alert, we haven't got much compared to the trending stocks. A lot of the 9 o'clock stock that we pick up seems to be sort of caught in a rut, like we see last week on freight and also pharma. Let's take a look, and these are the 2 ideas that we have. Freight. So on freight management, and you could see continue to uptrend. Remember, we talked about this on the 20th of August, okay? That was somewhere around here, 10 o'clock. You can see market came back down and holding up, but on the hourly chart turned to red pentagon, and that's where we are. And also the other one is the pharma, and remember pharma, we actually built a trading plan for that one. You can see here, let's take a look at it here. At that time, we see that volume is coming in. Low support 75 cents, high resistance 104. Weekly is still moving sideways. Green pentagon on the 11th of August. And if we bring in our pharma chart, okay, and pharma Niaga, you could see market did try to crack up, but then turn back to negative. You can see this is another selling that we have. Very, very volatile for these stocks. You could see right in here, we were at this junction last week. You see the market tried to break up, but eventually the market did turn back down. The earnings was better. I do remember I did cover the earnings in here. I can't remember how much was it, but you could see the market actually sell off over good news. So take note, every time when you see good news, usually that's not so thing. So do we have volume coming in? No, we have only volume on this bar. This was the beginning of the sell-off volume that we see, and then the market seems to taper off. So this also tells you right now this market likely to pull back a bit. We have the 4-bar pullback in here. Not sure whether this thing is going to go higher, but at this point it looks like it's going to move sideways too. All right, so let's take a look at the next this episode 110 for 27th of August. What are the stocks that we have for you? Definitely one of the things that we are looking at is SamChem. Okay, Sam Chemical. Now, Sam Chemicals has a very good rating. Now, it took up this uptrust. That's what's caught my eye. Taking up the uptrust is another strong indication of an up move in here. Okay, so you can see test, uptrust, take out, and take note of that. So let's create a trading plan for this in here. That's where we are. So you can see on hourly chart, of course, we are at the so-called premium alert for our advanced user. We want to be using the hourly chart. Okay, so you can see from here we put a weekly direction in here. We can add one more hourly direction. Okay, so let's switch to a weekly first. Then we can type in the hourly direction first. Okay, hourly green pentagon turn green. Okay, turn, what time was it? 27 August. Let's look at weekly. Now take note, usually the hourly, the shorter time frame will turn first. Okay, and if you look from here, okay, weekly green pentagon still yellow. Okay, and daily, let's take a look at daily. Daily is turned on the 11th of August. Okay, daily turn on 11th of August, and hourly. Okay, so here you can see if we switch on, it turned on the 11th of August. You can see, right, 11th of August, and then the market jump up and break the new high. 11th of August, it went up on the 9th, 11th 11 August was when it actually first turned green pentagon. Then there was some earnings result in here that they close up, and then of course usually we get a bit of profit taking. Let's take a look at the earnings. The earnings is not updated yet. Its earnings is coming up today, so the market is actually reacting to this likelihood of the earnings. Earnings is 27, as I said before. This is likely to see maybe on the positive side, right, judging from here. And if it does take out this upthrust in here, that's good. But do take note, one of the positive things you can see from here is that right now on the trend line that you see here, right, the trend line, which is the auto plotter, is showing the chart is breaking out, right, which means we are on the hourly chart, it's moving up, and on the daily, starting to turn upwards. You can see, right, we are moving into a mid stage 2 shares. So that is showing that SamChem is moving up nicely in here. And those are the condition usually we want to see, both in the shorter time frame as well on the longer time frame. Of course, weekly hasn't turned yet. All right, so that pretty much sums up very simple the way we want to do it. All right, so let's move on to the next SMARTRobie. Of course, we just put in green pentagon on 11 of August. Important price level, let's take a look at it. And of course, important price level, usually we switch to a daily chart, right? We can have it here. First one is 85 cents, and that's on 19th of August. Okay. Why is the market moving higher? Let's switch to an hourly chart. All right, yes, we have some volume, okay. Hourly volume coming in on 27 August 20120, okay, morning. Now we want to ensure that we don't have too much of a climatic volume. One of the key things is make sure you don't see the VSI volume, which is this one in here. If you don't have that one, it's pretty good. So on the low support here, definitely the lower support will be somewhere around here, just before the market broke out here. So that will be 0685, okay, 0685 on a hourly chart basis, okay, hourly chart. High resistance right now will be still this 085 in here. Trending period, we usually don't want to keep too long, right, since it is premium alert. Now we just want to have it maybe hourly chart, just about 5 or 6 bars, okay, on daily basis. Okay, so which means if you switch to a daily chart here, we want to see this thing move the next 4 or 5 days. If it doesn't move, then we need to cut. Just like what we've seen on the freight management in here, is going nowhere. It's better that we take some of the trade off, some money off the trade, and move it to another one. All right, that's usually what you want to do for the premium alert. You want to get in, see the stocks moving up, and make sure the momentum continue. If you don't see that momentum continuing, then this is where you want to sort of, you know, taper off and move on to something else. This is what advanced trader must do. Unlike the Pentagon Guider, where you're a beginner, you tend to stay with it for a longer trend, right? For our advanced, I assume that you want to move in fast and fast out. Okay, so that is the trading. Let me just save this, because next week we're going to come back and review this, right? And that's important. Once you have this, continue to review this and update on the right column that you see over here. All right. Okay, and just an update for our January to August. We are still up 8% compared to KLCI, which is up, still down 3% in here. We are in our trades so far. The 106 for last year we did see, and KLCI is still down. As I said before, we are still up 8% for our January to August 2021 update in here. Of course, those of you who like to know more about using the green pentagon in here, there's a QR code. Check this out, and you can watch this in here. Alright, and don't forget all our sign, strength, sign, and weakness. You can also check out this tutorial for those of you who are first time in here. Now, of course, don't forget, we have two big workshop that we are planning, which is our half-day workshop that we are doing on the September. First one will be technical analysis, the first part one. So there's a QR code. Make sure you register it, or on the site comment there's a QR code. You can register it for you. And then following, the next one will be on the 18th of September, because this weekend we have a members training. Usually we do a lot of members training. The ratio of members training to the public is almost 9-1, okay, which means we do 9 times compared to what we do. So that's really one of the big benefits, you know, coming to our masterclass training members in here. So check it out in here for that one. So, and of course, those of you who are interested in our plugin, it's available. There's a number you can call that, and you can also opt for installation. All our tools that you've seen on our hourly chart, the real-time intraday, our real screener, and of 31st August, we are coming something new, refreshing, and we're going to share with you on the beginning. 1st of September, you'll see many new things coming out too, to make trading more interesting and more engaging to our audience. And thanks to your feedback so far, we've been getting it. We continue to update and upgrade our services to you. Okay, and right now we're going to be going into all the usual our members as well as the public. And if you're public, please state your profession and your stock codes, because we have many of our members are premium members. If you are premium, if you are our plugin members or our masterclass members, do let me know, and I'm more than happy to take a look at your stocks. Okay, and this is what we have for you. Do let me know some of the stocks that you want me to take a look. We have a question in here. We have Amil looking at Magni. All right, and Amil, can you state your profession, please? You're a part-time trader, and Fufu is a retired. Okay. An increase in interest rate will cause prices of metal to fall. Yes, that's always been the case, Fufu, to answer your question. Just like gold, right? If interest rate goes up, people tend not to buy gold, but when interest rate drops, but you don't want to invest in commodities for the commodity prices. You want to invest in the what we call the production of the commodity which is used. In this case, like pressed metal, they are used for buildings and also a lot of construction for cars. Remember, batteries, aluminium, you use a lot on construction of EV cars, and that's why we see a tick up on those shares that you're in. So don't use the interest rate. Like, you know, interest rate rise is only good for the banking stocks. Most other sectors will have in here. We have here Magni. Now Magni is a longer term stocks. Having said that, you could see on the daily chart inside here, it's still pretty much in the green Pentagon. Again, at one point of time, it will try to break back up and retest back the 230. It has been in this sideways market for some time. You can see earnings 7 cents, earning 11 cents. You know, it is still performing and it's still paying dividend. Having said that, right, it's not going to be moving up a lot more unless we see more of the recovery and more things. No doubt, if you look at undergarment and also Nike, those stocks has done pretty well, but Magni has not, because Magni has 2 divisions. One is the packaging and one is the apparel in here. All right. Trading view is trading view. Otherwise, this is from Amel saying that the green Pentagon, okay, FA wise is a good stock. Consumer sectors are coming but haven't come yet. So you can see from this, Magnitech has not turned green Pentagon yet. All right, volume are still low, so it's still going down their range. Remember what we saw early on for pressed metal, right? This one is still trending at the sideways, right at the bottom in there. All right, so you are scrapping the bottom unless you know how to buy these stocks. But usually, if you want to buy Magni, it is more for the dividend and a little bit on the upside for that one. All right, we got a few more queries in here. The first one is we have all right, Public Bank is going to be a good one. Public Bank is a recovery stock. We have Astino. Okay, would the Jackson Hole Symposium affect US dollar? Yes and no. But having said that, US dollar generally are affected more by the unemployment rates, which usually coming up in here. So we've seen unemployment rates and the GDP growth, and right, it tend to fluctuate. But if you look at the US dollar compared to ringgit, over time we hit, remember I talked about the ringgit hitting 4.3, but since then it has tapered off a bit in here. But on the longer run, our ringgit versus US dollar will still stay above $4 in here. We have Jessica in here, want me to look at a retiree, looking at Estino. Okay, Estino, nice one, just turned green pentagon in here, volumes are coming in, nice space in here. I think there's a bit of room for this market to go up. Nice one, you can see trends, and make sure you get this plug in here. You can see the trends are turning downwards, your stocks are turning up, and that's certainly a good pickup. And these are the things that having a plug-in would definitely help you a lot more for the time that you have in here. Okay, VIS going in sideways. Let's take a look at VIS. Now VIS is, I'm not mistaken, is a technology driven. Yeah, but you can see from here, right, since green pentagon in here, but do take note, we know the technologies are taping off, and how we do not just go over to sector. The one that is trending right now is plantation. Technology is on the bottom, on the red side of that one. Okay, so that's usually the case inside there. You want to for Jackie wanted to sell and move on. What's my advice? Again, when you want to buy this kind of stocks, always go back to your strategy. Remember, I talk about the barbell strategies since your masterclass. Okay, he hasn't turned red pentagon. Look at the overall portfolio. If it doesn't hit your ATR stop loss, keep it. All right, now if you want to move out, maybe you want to sell a bit more, that's fine. Okay, always look back to your strategy, what you do, right? Don't buy a bit of everything. One of the bigger mistakes that people do is that they buy a bit of here, so end up you have about 20 overstocks, 30 overstocks. I think I'll talk about that during our masterclass already. So don't do that, right? You know what I mean here. Okay, public bank is going to be good, Lahi. Okay. Okay, public banks, I said, your turn green pentagon. Public bank again, very, very similar to the KLCI. It hit the 1,600, so it's going to hit $4.15, $4.20, and you'll see it pull back a bit more, which is, very likely. All right, this bar was due to the foreign funds coming to buy, and they're going to be releasing another report here on the 27, 28. I think I'm still waiting for the report to be released. Okay. And we have Tune Pro and Pre-Star. Okay, Nigel want me to look at Tune Pro. Tune Pro is, green pentagon in here. Again, stock recovery kind of stocks. As long as the airline comes in, this one will be fine. You can see that this trend line, so just every day, make sure you have the auto trend line. Those of you, I think our coach, senior trainer Zach has given you, for those of you that are plugged in, just put it in there and sort of look at the trend. You get worried when the trend start to turn or it break to the lower segment of this one in here. Okay, a Pre-Star. Okay, Pre-Star, same also lah, same also, it's moving slowly. We have Kevin, just let me know, Kevin. Your profession, I think you're a masterclass member. Sally is a student, ATA INS. Okay, I think you asked me this before. All right. Okay, trend still up, but you can see this trend's going up, so wait for it to turn. All right. ATA INS is going to hit the earnings, so a lot's going to be depend on the earnings on the deferred August, whether it's up or down. Okay. Okay, we have last in here, let's take a look at the other area in here. We got the Mayfern, Pelican. One may look at Pelican. Interesting choice of stocks. Yes, turn green pentagon in here. Nice one here. The volumes are pretty alright. Volumes are coming in. So you're going to uptrust, take out of the uptrust. That's a good sign. Remember, right? You got no demand. And let's see. This is very good setup. I like it. Okay, LC Titan. Someone asked me for James LC Titan for bottom fishing. Yeah, this is a nice one here. Let me just turn on back this here that we've seen. Yeah, it looks good. I kind of like it too. Okay, and let's see how well it will do. Again, another play on the oil and gas and also recovery in here, right? And you're coming up from a very low base in here. Lot of degree room of freedom. Okay. Nice one. For would be better if you have a double bottom. Right now you just have one side. This is just like maybe the left side of the table. Remember, table have left and right side, right? So once you have two, just like you go back to the KLCI, you have the two double bottom. That means it's very, very strong. Now you only have one left side. I think the market will likely to zoom back up to here 270, right? You better take some profit there, and they'll come back down again and form another double bottom. That's something I think I shared in our masterclass. Okay, for those of you who came to our masterclass, definitely that is a good one there. Okay. All right, so we will stop here, and thank you for coming. I hope you have a great weekend. And I usually do have an enjoyable weekend with my family. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube, and make sure you share our YouTube and get your friends and colleagues to subscribe and let them know about our Trade VSA a Telegram chat room. And not to forget, continue to review us on the Google Play Store so we can continue to bring you the best in ideas and the best education that we can using all our analytics tools and to be of service to you. Thank you for coming. Thank you, and have a good weekend. If not, I'll see you on Monday for our breakfast show. Bye bye.